human intelligence has created means of suicide, self-destruction. The first is nuclear weapons. The Second World War ended with the nuclear age. It was obvious right at the time, I can tell you personal experiences, that human intelligence had now devised the means to destroy everything. That's the nuclear age. We've barely survived it. It wasn't known then, but it's now known that at the same time, end of the Second World War, we'd entered a new geological epoch, what's called the Anthropocene, where human activities are having a severely destructive impact on the environment. Geologists have kind of debated its inception, but they've now more or less agreed, the World Geological Organization has agreed on end of the Second World War. So here we created two huge sledgehammers which are able to destroy us. In the 1970s, human intelligence took the next step. Let's destroy the means to protect ourselves. That's pretty much what happened as the period of what was called regimented capitalism shifted to the neoliberal era. The neoliberal era of the last generation is dedicated in principle to destroying the only means to defend ourselves from destruction. It's not called that. What it's called is shifting decision-making from public institutions, which at least in principle are under public influence, to private institutions which are immune from public control in principle. That's called shifting to the market. It's under the rhetoric of freedom, but it just means servitude. It means servitude to unaccountable private institutions. The rhetoric, those of you who remember Margaret Thatcher, there is no society, just individuals. An ideal, not a description, but she may not have known it, but she was paraphrasing Karl Marx, who at the period of the severe French repression said the French repression is turning society into a sack of potatoes. Amorphous class of individuals who can't work together, who are separated and atomized. That's the ideal of neoliberalism. Let's turn society into a sack of potatoes. Let's eliminate the institutions that in which engaged people might get together to try to deal constructively with their problems. Let's transfer it into the hands of unaccountable private institutions which are devoted in principle to profit maximization, power maximization. Of course, that means undermining democracy. That's what's happened. That's why we see what's called, it's a bad term, it's called the populist uprising. There's nothing populist about it. It means anger, fear, hatred, discontent, contempt for institutions, a collapse of institutions, a direct consequence of the neoliberal economic policies, which have also led to stagnation or decline for the majority. Real wages have actually declined since 1979 when the program began. All of this is together, and put it together, what you have is human intelligence has created two means of destroying ourselves, and it has also been actively engaged in trying to eliminate the only protection we have against them. So it's a kind of perfect storm. That's what humans have done. How did this happen? How did we get this way? How did we develop creative capacities of a unique kind which have led to extraordinary achievements? Okay, these are things we ought to try to understand, all of them, and do something about, not just understand.